Hello and welcome back. Today I get to try out the Four Candies mechanical pencil set. If you've been on TikTok the past few weeks, you've probably seen them and you might have even come to this video specifically for them. I do want to apologise because I have already used them once. We had a power outage and I had nothing better to do with myself, so that's why the kneaded eraser looks so used. Here's my sketchbook now, and as you can see, I've not been using it for long. I'm just so excited to get some colour in it with these pencils. Hopefully the pigment of the coloured lead won't be terrible, as I've still not tried them, but the dog you saw on my last page was done using this mechanical pencil set. So I already have a pretty good understanding of the lead quality in the graphite. I really wanted to do a spread that would allow me to show off both the graphite and the coloured pencils, so I decided why not do two cats. One could be a really dark black cat and the other could be more rainbowy. Is that even a word? I don't know, but I'm going to use it as one. I don't often think too heavily about any symbolism or storytelling in my work until I get started, but I had a rough idea for what I wanted to sort of convey in this piece. Maybe some sort of eclipse vibe, but I'll just let you see how it pans out. Starting a sketchbook for the first time in 3 years has been so humbling because I've seen so many gorgeous art spreads from other artists and I just can't understand how you manage drawing down the spine of the book. You must know a secret that I don't. Maybe it's that you're using the pages that have specifically been bound, so it's all the same sheet instead of two separate ones, if that makes sense. And this just isn't one of those pages, so that might be my problem. I will find out and have a go. I'm also going to be getting some gouache in the next couple days, so that's going to be exciting to have a go with. I really hope the paper can handle paint. I have no idea. It is just a standard mixed media book. And if it can't, then I guess I'm going to have to get more paper. I'm fine with that. It means I'll be able to pin it on my wall properly. Because that is the drawback to having everything in a sketchbook. I can't just put my sketchbook up on a shelf. Or I could, I suppose. But I'm not going to. What you're looking at is about 40 minutes into the sketching phase. And I completely forgot to do their back legs. It's the last thing I ended up doing before moving on to the colouring, I guess. I'm aware their bodies are kind of long, the anatomy is kind of off. I've learnt something already going forward, but if anyone asks, it was intentional. So this camera angle change is after I took a 30-minute break because I had finished the sketch. I'm not sure what happened to the light, but it does look like I'm drawing in the dark with just a lamp. I want to assure you that is not the case, it's just the camera picking it up. I'll give it the points for being cozy though. Anyway, you came here for the pencils, so this is the 2H pencil lead, and I'm just using it to get a good baseline of colour on the paper. Then I'll just keep getting it darker as I build up more values. I really want to keep the circle and the eyes completely negative space, although at the moment he kind of looks like he has 4 eyes. I promise you they're tear ducts, and they'll start to look more like it as I get more colour down. Or I guess values because there's no colour, which I'm still really getting used to. I'm used to drawing really colourful digital landscapes, and I've been doing that for so long that I just think in colour at this point, so to have to focus more on the values instead, it's a learning curve. But I'm glad it is. It's always really refreshing and fulfilling to be learning new things. And that's what I love about art, because there's never really an end goal. You can spend your entire art journey just drawing landscapes, and then all of a sudden you decide, actually, I want to draw animals or a human portrait. And then you've got something completely new to learn, or even you decide to pick a different medium. Maybe I'm just pushing myself into that saying where it's jack of all trades, master of none, but I don't care. I'm happy. I love what I create. And if there was an end goal in art, then I think that should be it. Always loving what you create. I definitely spent the most amount of time on this guy's face, and I'm sorry the filming is kind of following that. But with the most planes and the most details, I felt like it was the perfect place to try out all the different shades of lead I had to work with. The lead I'm using at the moment is the 4B lead, and I am pressing so lightly that I originally was going to make this an ASMR video, but I was pressing so lightly that the mic didn't pick it up. Anyway, we've finally moved on from his face and to the larger planes of his body, which I will admit I kind of sped through. I'm again getting a baseline of value down using the 2H lead, and I decided to do it all over so then I could go in with the eraser to mark out some negative space to add some twinkling stars to. The kneaded eraser came in so handy for that because I was able to squish it into a nice fine point. But I did go in to clean the edges up with the 0.5 HB mechanical pencil. Sadly, a lot of the footage here is actually unusable from when I coloured in his body because my hand kept playing with the focus effect on my phone. So there was a lot of blur going on. Now I'm going in with the 2B pencil just to deepen those depths before going in with the 4B. And you can see this is where I ran into the problem of the spine of the book messing up my pencil lines again. It has to be user error because so many other artists do it so perfectly. I didn't really know where to put the stars, but I knew I wanted them, so he has a cutie mark, okay? And I really wanted to get more of a fur texture going, like the wolf sketch I had on the other page. So I really tried to stick it out with hatching, but I don't know what happened. It kind of just makes it look more sculptural in the body, although I do really like the effect on the back of his neck. Honestly, at this point, I was getting really impatient. I was absolutely itching just to have a go with the coloured pencil. I realise now that I should have used the coloured pencils first so that I wouldn't risk smudging all of the graphite. Oh well, it's done now and I really like how the spread eventually came out, but there's space to try again because there's a whole 100 pages in this sketchbook for me to fill up. Hopefully I'll document most of them to share with you. I absolutely love whiskers. I always leave them till last so I have something to look forward to. The coloured pencil lead sticks fit into the same mechanical pencil as the 2.0mm lead sticks did. I will admit I was a bit scared it could tarnish the colours and make them more grey or, you know, just have excess residue on them, but I didn't deal with any of this at all. The only greying the coloured pencils faced was from my own hand smudging the graphite cat. Still getting used to this traditional art thing. One colour that I was a bit disappointed by was the colour I'm currently using. It was a really light blue, and as you can or can't see, it just is ridiculously light. Now, maybe I just need to press harder, maybe it was a bit of lead that just didn't have as much pigment as the rest, but I don't know. It made a good sketching pencil, I guess, because it was easily covered. But I absolutely love the red. I'm going to probably use it just on its own because I think it would be a really cool sketch page of red everywhere. And I also really enjoyed how deep this purpley blue colour was. Although at my core, I am someone who really loves the colour red, and blue and green, they all really go really nice together, but red is always just the spotlight of those colours. I found myself not using references, so I can't tell you exactly what these cats are, but in my head, the graphite guy is some sort of Black Panther, and the clouded one is definitely a clouded leopard. But her back is definitely long enough to be a cheetah. This other blue that I found definitely redeemed how poor the other light blue worked, and I'm so glad it did because it wouldn't be a rainbow-ish coloured cat without any blue. And the lead felt so soft, so it was so nice to just fill everything in with it. The set did also come with a sharpener for your lead, so you can also sharpen it up to get those really harsh, sharp, tiny lines if you wanted to. But just be aware you would probably have to sharpen it fairly frequently as it did soften down quite quickly. Then again, this is a mechanical pencil set which focuses more on graphite and lead and the grey stuff. And it does do a really good job of that, so if you do think about buying this set, maybe go into it expecting the colours to be an add-on and not necessarily the feature. Oh yeah, one other thing is with the 2.0 mechanical pencils bodies, I guess, I took them completely apart and I couldn't figure out how to get the lead inside without just doing this. It was weird because the ones designed to hold the finer lead did work how you'd expect them to, with a hole for the lead to go in at the top. I don't know though, maybe I'm just missing something. I'd prefer, if this is the video you're watching to decide if you buy them, that you know all the information I can give you. The section I'm currently working on that you can see in the camera is definitely my most favourite. I just love all the swirls. I love the swirl at the end of the tail. I love the swirl on the back leg, and I love how the paw is separated and just contrasts nicely with that golden line. I'm so sorry, I might be my own biggest fan. I am also my own biggest critic, but I've just been drawing for so long that I'm at a point where getting sad about the critic I'm giving myself isn't going to make me any better. So it wouldn't make me any happier either. Speaking of happy, I was so ecstatic to get my hands back on the red again for the back of this cat. Honestly, this red alone is worth it, but I also just don't use any coloured pencils ever. This is my first attempt in a long time, so I'm a bit biased, I guess. I've not exactly got anything to compare it to. It was at this point that I sort of realised my rainbow coloured cat wasn't exactly very rainbow coloured and more just red and blue. It's okay, it's kind of giving sunset, which does contrast the night sky vibe we have going on with the black cat. It's enhancing that idea of an eclipse I had, but I did end up trying to go in with the green on the face. Not very confidently, as you can tell, because I didn't deepen it at all very much or press very hard. I'm not sure what happened to my confidence, but I really wanted to get some deeper colours in here. I just didn't know how or where, I guess. I was scared to layer the pencils because it's not something I'm used to doing, and instead settled on just adding more gradients to the clouds. At this point, I let my fear consume me and decided to just wrap up on the details, as I had also been sat in the same position for about 6 hours. So I just needed a break, but I finished up with the whiskers. Overall, if I were to rate these, it would be a good 4.5 stars out of 5, and I'm really happy with what I made from them. So I'll see you next week. I have a tutorial planned.